From the great above, she opened her ear to the great below. From the great above, the goddess opened her ear to the great below. From the great above, Inanna opened her ear to the great below. Hello, beautiful hearts. My name is Evonne Xox, and I come to you from Dja Dja Wadrunung country in Central Highlands, Victoria, Australia, in the Southern Hemisphere. I just read you the start of the passage of the great myth of Inanna out of this book, Inanna, Queen of Heaven and Earth. The myth of Inanna, or Ishtar, is sometimes as she's been called, is an ancient, thousands and thousands year old myth based around ancient Samaria, which is now modern day Middle East. This myth talks about a queen. She's the queen of heaven and earth. She is already a sovereign being, but yet she's not the whole picture. She's not the wholeness of who she is. She's like the top half, I guess, if you were to look at. She's like the spring and the summer, but not yet the autumn or the winter, yet to be whole. But she has her fineries and she is sovereign. But yet she hears the stirring from the great below. She hears the autumn and the winter. She hears the death and the rebirth of the cycle stirring deep within her. She hears her dark goddess sister, Yarishkagal, calling, weeping from the underworld as she mourns her husband. Inanna wants to go and pay her respects to Yarishkagal. Really, to pay her respects, to honour the dark shadow side of herself, because she knows if she doesn't do that, she can never be whole. She will never experience the rebirth that needs to happen for her to really step into her light, her fullness of who she really is. So when Inanna hears the call, she knows she must go. Those around her mock her, her gods, her fathers, saying, "Ah, Inanna, you can never return. Once you go, you never come back." Inanna knew this. And when we ourselves shed and let go of all the aspects that don't serve us anymore, we don't ever come back from that. We actually are rebirthed into something new. The world is ripe right now for this. We must start coming into our wholeness. We must start coming into light. We must warm the earth with our rays of light for the grandchildren and the great-grandchildren and the great-great-grandchildren to come in. Speaking of which, we need to warm the earth because we are sitting in this point of no return. Now we can either go down holding on to all the things, but yet we will never grow. It's like a tree letting go of its leaves. Hang on, sweetie. It's like a tree. If a tree, doesn't have the time in winter, the roots can't grow. It needs, the deciduous trees in which I'm sitting around here now, needs to let go of its leaves for it to spring again into something new. So the Inanna journey, the myth, she goes through 7 gates. 7 gates of letting go, her finery taken off her as she enters each gate. Shedding, letting go of what no longer serves her. And when she enters the underworld to sit with her sister, Yarishkagal, the dark goddess, she is bowed low and stripped bare and naked. Yarishkagal, the dark goddess sister, the part of ourselves, our shadow aspect of ourselves, hangs us on a meat hook and our corpse to rot. A body that no longer serves. And from there we are dissolved into the void, into the underworld of all and nothingness. For those who follow Dr. Joe Dispenza, and if you don't, I highly recommend him. He's a neuroscientist who talks about the quantum field. He talks about the field, the God, the divine, whatever you want to call it, the universal energies. When we step into that, shedded all the layers, we become something else. We become this everything and nothing and full potential of anything that could have been, anything that we want to be, we turn into. But we cannot take our old body with us. We cannot take the things that hold us back and make us heavy. We can't take deep matter into us. We need to rise above, vibrate ourselves into a higher format, into love, dissolve into love, which is what divine is. And then we have to return. Inanna is given the food and the water of life, and she comes alive again. But she is different. She has been dissolved into full love. She has been stripped bare. And all the while, when she was hanging on that meat hook, Yarishka girl is in labour. She is given compassion, which opens the door for Inanna to be given the food and the water of life. So bring compassion and love, which is the highest form of vibration. And when we do that, we can return back into the light. And it's interesting. The light is not an easy thing to, the underworld is not an easy thing to return from, because it feels so squishy and creative and expansive. But to return, that is where our full power is. Because when Inanna goes back through the 7 gates, she's given back her royal garments, her crown, everything that was taken off her. But this time, it is drunk on spirit. Everything this time has a twinkle to it, because when you reach those places of expansiveness, when you're all and nothing and everything with everything, when you become the tree and the blade of grass and the stars, returning back from that into the earthly realms, everything has this beauty to it, and we're taught not to do that. We're taught actually not to sit in our light, because our culture, which is dying, has taught us to stay small, to keep productive, keep working, to charge. Forget about how you feel. Just charge, keep going. If you're sick, keep going. It's time for that to stop now. We need to shed our skin. We need to sit in the underworld and to listen to what our shadow aspect has to say. We need to release it and kiss it goodbye with love, to sit in the void of all and nothingness, then return to the light. Our great-grandchildren are depending on this, that we are the light, to warm the earth of the deep winter that has been. And if we don't, there will be no great-grandchildren. So I'm here to share with you a circle that I'm running. This second circle of this phase will start on August the 13th. It's a 17-week journey where we are guided through the underworld, through the gates into the underworld, to sit in the void and return. We journey as a group of sisters. We connect deeply with each other and share each other this circle of shaman. If this sounds like a calling to you, if you are hearing the call to the underworld, come join us. Sit in our circle. There are 8 spots left. It will be on Zoom, and there is an opportunity for a wilderness solo in the middle, and at the end, hopefully a face-to-face. I love you. Come join our circle.